Hey guys, this is Ray. Thank you for watching the Interlink Network. Today we're going to go over why engineering degrees have one of the highest ROIs. Again, ROI, we definitely want to get down to the definition. It's basically your return on investments, and I will go further deep on the ROI of it because you might be thinking, college debt. I don't know if that's any investment that you can make that's a ROI in that sense, but I'm going to explain why, and I'm going to explain why this might be the field for you and might be the degree for you. There's several factors. I want to start off with this. First, what we're seeing right here, we're seeing 81,000 in your average starting salary. Now, we're also seeing the typical payback period, which is 3 to 7 years. And the thing that gets a lot of people is the 40% of them switch out. And engineering isn't scary. The idea of it is scary, right? But you can learn math, you can learn physics, you can learn complex problems, you can have groups. It takes time. If you're consistent, anyone can do it. It's just about being consistent, mature enough to put in the time, the extra time outside of class. But the ROI of engineering, it makes it one of the best degrees for you to get. And I'll explain more. So right now, what ROI actually measures. So we're taking in, we got the numbers for your average starting salary. And also, let's just touch back on that real quick. 81,000 for the broad general engineering. Engineering is there's so many different fields of engineering. I will say, like, for example, chemical, mechanical, civil, electrical, nuclear engineer, aerospace engineer, you have industrial, environmental. So it varies depending on which profession or which engineering degree you choose, and from there the starting salary might dictate where you will start off with. And computer engineering is also another one, that's another great one. So starting salary, this is across the board average, let's say 81,000, minus your total debt, like the tuition fees, the living costs, your scholarships. That determines how much of the salary you will actually keep over time in that period. And then also we're doing the payback period after your taxable income earnings, how that will look like. And what we're seeing is typically on average 3 to 7 years payback. So that's a good ROI compared to a lot of fields. If we're going over medical fields, I mean, the debt is astronomical in some cases. So another thing that I will say, right now I'm in engineering, but I started in Dallas Community College. For you, any community college is great for engineering. So if you're doing community college for engineering, starting off and then going to university, that will be a better cost savings for you. So if you're thinking about that, that's also something to consider. If you have scholarships, that's great too. So it offsets a lot of the debt you'll have to incur over time when you're in engineering. And it might take a little longer for you to get a degree, especially like me, who's working full time. If you're working full time as well, it takes a little bit more time for you to catch up and take summer classes. That will also help you. So the debt you acquire over engineering is significantly less, and the amount of time in school is significantly less compared to the medical field. So that's why I think engineering is really great, and the reward feels so great, I'm sure. So let's talk about the starting salaries for engineering in other fields versus other fields. I mean, truly, engineering ranks as the second highest graduate category for class of 2026, highest paid. I mean, so what that tells you is this, but behind only healthcare, engineering makes the most. So the ROI is so good for an engineering degree because you're not going into a lot of debt compared to the medical industry, as well as the amount of schooling you'll have to do compared to law and medical. So engineering, again, just to advocate for it, there's so many engineering fields you can go to, which one to optimize for better salary. But again, the biggest thing I will say for engineering is the amount of people that drops out, right? 40%. So it only applies to you if you stay consistent. If you stay consistent, the entry to mid pay gap widens over time. So you, with engineering, most engineering professions, you can easily cross over 100,000 within your first 4 to 5 years. that is the case statistically. So earning that amount of money compared to certain fields where it has a gap, or you have to have tenure, like 10 years of experience into that field in order to make a certain amount of 100K, etc. Engineering beats that, you know. So engineering starts ahead and stays competitive even as finance and business catch up by mid-career. Engineering keeps a far higher floor and faster path to six figures. That's key. So that's why also the ROI on engineering is so high and it's valuable. Granted, again, it is a little bit difficult, but that's what makes engineering more in demand, right? The math you're going to go through, the sciences degrees, you go through a little bit of math, but also you're going through a lot of overly saturated or even higher competition compared to the engineering, where it weeds out all the players that aren't as let's say dedicated or committed to it and find it really hard. So now you're just having a small select few of engineerings that have specific skills in hardware and sometimes software, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing electrical engineering or computer engineering or just sometimes chemical, you're going to be able to touch on the software, even mechanical. You're touching on some of the software programming, maybe robotics, megatronics, etc. So those are the things to keep in mind. You can go to different careers or different sectors in that field and learn different skills, and it's easier to learn those skills compared to the opposite. If you're a science and you're getting into the hardware side, if you're in math, statistics, or just a math degree, you're getting into engineering, maybe financial engineering if you're in the math, but it's harder to touch on the actual hardware side, the reverse. So that's also engineering gives you a broad area to join a certain sector, right? Um, how fast does the degree pay for itself? Um, a simplified payback model for most accredited colleges. You graduate, then you get your starting salary. First, the average starting salary, let's say, is 81,000, and then most engineer grads recoup total tuition costs within this window, which is a three to 7 year window, and then the compounding median pay across engineering occupation clears 97,000. Clears 97,000, meaning well beyond that typically. But let's just say the lowest 97,000 max, right? But compounding over 10 years. And the biggest thing about this channel, we're going to go over a little bit of finance, but if you invest a lot of that money over time into, your index fund, mutual funds, into your Roth, or 401k, over time, the compounding effects of it, you can become a millionaire within 10, 15 years of just compound interest rates. And then you're just building up your cash flow, building up also just your stock portfolio over time. It's going to make you become in a better position to be a millionaire, to be financially set, financially wealthy over time. So I think that's why the engineering degree is very, very valuable, and also paying off your debt and being able to just have a lot more disposable income at your will, right? So that's why it's so important. There is a talent shortage because how difficult it is. AI and automation, that doesn't there's a premium for those who can utilize these tools, but you're not going to get replaced with these tools because AI doesn't do hardware, and the software sometimes can be very, very difficult. MATLAB, I mean, you can try to do AI PCBs, but truly, if you have the actual design criteria and experience, it's hard to replace you. The C and C++, those are one of the hardest coding languages for AI just to automate and program a machine. It's a tool, right? And I think that's what AI is mostly for anyway. So if you're able to get the premium of understanding AI and how to automate certain tasks, you're going to be top of your class, right? Salary predictability. We've seen this so many times. Accountability. We see that AI or engineering itself goes increases more and more, and it's high demand, obviously. And then even the low end, I'll say the low end wins, which is your environmental, and civil, and even industrial sometimes. Not saying it's a bad engineering um, field to go into. It's not. I say it takes rigorous, it takes a certain kind of person, it takes dedication and commitment to get these degrees. So the modest we'll say engineering degrees even makes it clears 100,000 at a medium income. So the catch again with what I spoke a lot about this whole video is 40% switch out of this major. 40%. So for one, it doesn't matter what age you are. If you're 40, if you're 30, 25, 18, 22, it's about commitment, right? For this. If you commit your time and you stay diligent on learning outside of classes, wanting to get help, go into network groups, talk to classmates to learn and to figure out, come with problems, figure out any questions you guys have, and just apply yourself for the next 4 to 7 years, right? To graduate, you'll be good. Because guess what? At the end of the day, the years are going to go by regardless. So if you stick with it and you know, like the money does matter. And also, but if you really do like certain aspects of engineering, if you like the microcontrollers, learning about circuits, or the machinery, that's something that will feel worth the while, as well as understanding that you're going to get a lot of pay for this. The ROI is going to be better for you, especially if you want to secure your financial future. That's what should motivate you to learn and understand that math and a lot of the subjects, it's just you're training your brain to understand this. This isn't you don't have to be the smartest person to do engineering. You just have to have commitment and time to put in, to dedicate, to learn, right? It's just a muscle. You're just relearning a lot of things. You're learning, and you're going through advanced methodologies, and that's fine. And theories, theoretics, etc. So bottom line, again, what you're going to be earning starting out, the demand of it, the pay ranges 100 to 161K plus, especially in the defense and semiconductor industry, is great. So the ROI of it, you're not taking in a lot of debt, depending on what options you're going for, what school you go to. Depending on, like, if you do community college to the university, that will be the best option. If you're mid late like me, learning engineering, and just for even younger people, if you weren't so good in high school, making good grades, it doesn't matter. As long as you, like, if you diligent on how you're going to use scholarships, as well as going maybe to a community college to graduate and get your degree and minimize a lot of the debt costs, that would be great as well. So there's so many options that you can choose from. Again, this channel, we're going to do interviews. We're going to do more topics and courses like with C++ and C, and also just embedded systems, which I'm very passionate about, but also have more people who teaches cybersecurity, etc. on here. But again, my name is Ray. I'm today's instructor for this video of why I believe, for the first video, that engineering is one of the best ROIs you can have in college. So thank you guys for watching. Bye.